Hey Stallone, Expendables 2 is a cash grab.
I don't know about all that, but you always obviously haven't seen stopping my mom will shoot.
I'm back. And this is a toilet paper roll because I couldn't find a real cigar. I'm napping at you, man and knife. You have my permission to kiss the blade. My name's Jason Statham, and it's knife to meet you. Huh? Get it? Knife. How many knives does it take to screw in a light bulb? What are you doing, Chuck Norris? Put the cookie down! Hey there guys, how are you? So here's my review for The Expendables Part 2. So unlike the original film, The Expendables, which was written and directed by Sylvester Stallone, the sequel is written by Sylvester Stallone but directed by Simon West. And if you guys don't know who Simon West is, well, he's the guy who directed... I guess the only good movie he's ever directed was Con Air with Nicolas Cage.
I said, put the bunny back in the box.
So the plot to Expendables 2 is Jean-Claude Van Damme plays a villain who wants to get all the plutonium on the planet so he can sell it to make a profit. And the Expendables crew, led by Sylvester Stallone, aren't going to allow that kind of shit to go down, you know? I don't know what you're doing with all that plutonium over there. Now, the whole concept behind The Expendables is bringing together all these classic 1980s action badass stars and putting them together in one movie. As a fanboy of action movies, and especially the 1980s, I mean, there's nothing about over the top. There you go. Now, this movie is a sequel that definitely went bigger and better than its original, which was very... I actually was not a fan of the original Expendables. I was so excited, and then I seen the movie and I was like... Wow, somebody got kind of lazy and sloppy, and Stallone, come on. I mean, I know you like money, but you could have done a little bit better than that. Now, The Expendables Part 2 goes bigger and better, and there's actually a more comprehensible storyline. I'm not saying the storyline's good or original or unique in any way, but it's more entertaining than the original one. Maybe it's just because it has more cameos in it. I'm not quite sure yet. Let me think about it as I keep talking. Now, the most noticeable difference between Expendables 1 and Part 2 is the action is a lot better and well filmed. Compared to the first one, which was directed by Sylvester Stallone, this one's directed by Simon West. And I think having another director come in and actually, you know, get behind the camera and judge how they're going to film action scenes and take more time and put a little bit more energy and effort into it. Because in the first Expendables, the action wasn't filmed that well. Another good thing about The Expendables Part 2 is it's self-aware. It knows what it is. We understand, hey, we understand that we're all 1980s badasses, but we're in one movie. Let's have some fun and make jokes about our past. Also, for the first time in years, you see Jean-Claude Van Damme back at it again. And I don't know what the hell, did that guy have some kind of weird eye surgery where he tried to get an eye lift, but they completely fucked it up? His eyes scared me in this movie. I think that's why he wears sunglasses half the time. But he plays this really evil, villainous asshole guy who just wants to make money from selling plutonium. I don't blame him. I mean, Jesus. There's a profit to be made. I mean, hell, let's line our pockets with some cash. Now, with Jean-Claude Van Damme in this movie, I expected two things. A heavy accent and roundhouse kicks. And I got both those. Now, this movie is full of quippy one-liners, hard-ass remarks, and a lot of cheese. And there's a lot of dialogue in this movie where characters kind of just reference other characters' past movies, like Yippee-Ki-Yay or I'll Be Back. Now, this is a man's movie. There's a lot of mindless big action scenes, but I still felt like there's more to be desired. You know, I look back at the movie, I just seen it a couple hours ago, and I really can't think of one big action scene that just blew me away, or one shot where it's just like, I'm gonna remember that for years. By the way, the digital blood in this movie, okay? At times it worked, at other times it's just like, Jesus, that's a lot of digital blood, and it's all thick, and it's a little too much, and it's cool, and I get why a 10-year-old kid would like it and think it's badass, but at the same time, I can't help but think, that is digital blood, and can we just use some real blood, maybe some ketchup? I don't give a shit. Just more of a liquid form rather than a digital one. That's all I want. Okay, I think that turned off a little bit ago, but oh well, we'll just keep talking. Oh, and speaking of making fun of itself, the movie stars Chuck Norris. Yeah, that's right, Chuck Norris is in the movie. His cameos definitely were fun and entertaining, though there's something about Chuck Norris I don't like. Maybe it's because I don't trust him. Don't make me explain that. Anyway, there is one big Chuck Norris joke in the movie made by Chuck Norris himself, and it definitely was the biggest joke of the entire movie. I think everyone really enjoyed it. The whole theater laughed at it, especially the 12-year-old kid behind me who was munching on his popcorn with his mouth open the entire movie. Really got a laugh at it, and he laughed so hard I think he sneezed on me, which made me want to stand up and choke him while his father watched. I think overall the biggest problem with the movie was the script. You know, it could have been better. It was a little bit underwhelming. It was the same thing you've seen 100 times before, and I get being an homage to the 1980s and being kind of just this bland-ass story with all these big action scenes to tie the movie together. So based on everything, I have to give The Expendables Part 2 a C+. I don't know why when you shoot something with an AK-47 it turns into a C+, but it just does, okay? So anyway, guys, before I go, I have a question for you. What is your favorite action movie of all time? I have two, and they're honestly both almost tied with each other. Terminator 2 and Point Break. Both of those movies together define testosterone and badass to me. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.